Welcome to YouTube Pedia. In a world where heroes wore white hats and villains were easy to spot, one man rode in with a squint, a silence, and a loaded gun. He redefined what it meant to be tough, mysterious, and unapologetically real. From the dusty roads of the Great Depression to the red carpets of Hollywood, Clint Eastwood carved his legend with grit, grace, and raw determination. But who is the man behind the squint? This is the untold story of Clint Eastwood, the rebel, the icon, the legend. Discover the greatest stories from history, science, and beyond. If you're curious about the world, subscribe now and join our journey through knowledge. Clint Eastwood Jr. was born on May 31, 1930 in San Francisco, California. It was the heart of the Great Depression, a time when money was scarce and hope even scarcer. His father, Clinton Sr., worked as a steelworker and migrant laborer, constantly moving from town to town in search of work. His mother, Margaret Ruth, was a factory worker. The Eastwoods had no permanent roots, and Clint's early life was marked by constant relocations across California. Even as a child, Clint was quiet, observant, and independent. The family called him Samson because of his impressive birth weight, over 11 pounds, but life wasn't easy. The Eastwoods lived in modest conditions, sometimes in tents or temporary lodgings. Clint learned the value of hard work and humility early on. He mowed lawns, bagged groceries, and took on odd jobs to help out. He wasn't a straight-A student, and school never really interested him, but he had an innate toughness and self-reliance that would define his life. After graduating from Oakland Technical High School, Clint drifted without direction. He took on various jobs: logger, lifeguard, forest firefighter, and even a steel furnace worker. In 1950, he was drafted into the U.S. Army and sent to Fort Ord, California. It was here by pure chance that Clint caught the eye of people connected to Hollywood. He wasn't aiming to be a star. In fact, he had no formal acting training, but he had something rare: presence. His tall, lean frame, square jaw, and intense eyes made him stand out. Though he was shy and stiff in front of the camera at first, he started auditioning, mostly for minor parts. He faced rejection after rejection, but Eastwood didn't give up. He took acting lessons, learned the basics, and slowly built confidence. His first appearances were uncredited and forgettable, but each one was a step closer to something bigger. Clint Eastwood's big break came in 1959 when he was cast as Rowdy Yates in the CBS Western series Rawhide. The show became a hit, and for 8 seasons, Eastwood became a familiar face in American living rooms. While the show made him a star, Clint wasn't fully satisfied. He wanted to do more than just play a hot-headed cowboy on TV. He wanted creative control, deeper roles, and stories that mattered. What set Eastwood apart even in Rawhide was his stoic, minimalist acting style. He didn't overact. He didn't shout. He used silence, posture, and the slow burn of emotion to command attention. It was a style that would later become his trademark. In the mid-1960s, Clint took a chance that many American actors turned down. He agreed to star in a low-budget spaghetti western being filmed in Spain, directed by a then-unknown Italian filmmaker named Sergio Leone. The result was A Fistful of Dollars, 1964. It wasn't just a success, it was a phenomenon. Clint's portrayal of the man with no name, a silent, mysterious gunslinger with no clear morality, redefined the Western genre. The film was followed by For a Few Dollars More, 1965, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 1966, forming a legendary trilogy. These movies were stylish, violent, and utterly different from the traditional American westerns. Eastwood became an international icon almost overnight. The spaghetti westerns showed the world that a new kind of hero had arrived: gritty, morally complex, and endlessly cool. With his poncho, squinting eyes, and ever-present cigar, Eastwood became the face of a new era in cinema. Returning to America, Clint continued his rise with one of his most famous roles: Inspector Harry Callahan in Dirty Harry, 1971. Callahan was a tough, no-nonsense cop who believed in justice, even if it meant bending the rules. The character was controversial. Some saw him as a dangerous vigilante, others as a symbol of strength in chaotic times. Regardless of interpretation, Dirty Harry was a box office smash and spawned several sequels. It solidified Eastwood's status as a cultural icon. More importantly, it hinted at the complexity of his worldview. His characters weren't simply good or bad, they wrestled with moral ambiguity, much like Clint himself. By the 1970s, Clint Eastwood wasn't content to just act. He wanted more control over the stories he told. So in 1971, he made his directorial debut with Play Misty for Me, a psychological thriller in which he also starred. The film was a success and showed that Eastwood had serious talent behind the camera. He followed it with a string of films that blended action, drama, and personal themes. Unlike many actors-turned-directors, Eastwood didn't need flashiness. His directing style was calm, efficient, and deeply character-driven. He liked to shoot quickly, often in one take, trusting his instincts and his actors. Some of his early directorial works included High Plains Drifter, 1973, The Outlaw Josie Wales, 1976, and Bronco Billy, 1980. Each film explored themes of justice, revenge, and identity. Through these projects, Eastwood carved out a new niche for himself, not just as a star, but as a storyteller. What made Eastwood's work so compelling was its simplicity. He didn't rely on fancy special effects or convoluted plots. He believed in strong characters, meaningful dialogue, and quiet intensity. Whether he was playing a cowboy, a cop, or a tormented loner, there was always something deeper beneath the surface. He became known for choosing scripts that dealt with themes of redemption, masculinity, loss, and inner strength. He portrayed flawed heroes, people who had been hurt by life but continued to fight for something they believed in. It resonated deeply with audiences, especially during times of cultural change and uncertainty. By the end of the 1970s, Clint Eastwood had transformed himself from a struggling actor to one of Hollywood's most powerful figures. He had conquered television, reinvented the Western, created iconic characters, and proven himself a skilled director. And yet, he was just getting started. Clint Eastwood is known for portraying characters with few words and many secrets. But off-screen, his life has been just as complex and layered as the roles he's played. A fiercely private man, Clint has rarely opened up about his personal affairs, but over time, pieces of the puzzle have become visible. Eastwood's personal life has been filled with romance, heartbreak, and family. He's had numerous relationships over the years, many of which were the subject of tabloid speculation. His first marriage was to Maggie Johnson in 1953. The couple had 2 children together but eventually divorced in 1984. Throughout his life, Eastwood has fathered at least 8 children with multiple women, including actresses Jacelyn Reeves and Frances Fisher. Despite the media attention, Eastwood has always maintained a close connection with many of his children. Some have even followed in his footsteps, entering the entertainment world. most notably Scott Eastwood, who has become a successful actor in his own right. Clint's love life has often drawn headlines, but his children and those who know him describe a man of quiet depth, generosity, and strong principles. He's known for being disciplined, hardworking, and fiercely loyal to those he cares about. Though often perceived as emotionally distant, those closest to him have described him as warm, witty, and surprisingly sensitive. While many celebrities are vocal about their political views, Clint Eastwood has always marched to the beat of his own drum. He is often labeled a conservative, but his beliefs are far more nuanced than a simple political label suggests. In the 1980s, Eastwood served as the mayor of Carmel-by-the-Sea, a small town in California. He ran a campaign that promised to make city government more efficient, and true to his word, he made real changes. He removed bureaucratic red tape, helped local businesses thrive, and even built a public restroom that the town council had delayed for years. It was a short 2-year term, but it showed the world that Eastwood wasn't just talk, he could lead. Politically, he has described himself as a libertarian. He values personal freedom, small government, and individual rights. In interviews, he's criticized both major parties and has refused to align strictly with either side. He famously spoke at the 2012 Republican National Convention, delivering an improvised and controversial speech to an empty chair meant to represent President Obama. The moment became a pop culture phenomenon, praised by some, mocked by others. But Eastwood's political journey is just another reflection of his complexity. He supports environmental protection, gay rights, and certain gun control measures, stances not typically associated with hardline conservatism. At the end of the day, Clint Eastwood is a man who thinks for himself, regardless of public opinion. While Clint Eastwood had already made his mark as an actor and director by the 1980s, it was in the 1990s and 2000s that he truly cemented his legacy as one of Hollywood's greatest filmmakers. In 1992, he directed and starred in Unforgiven, a dark and emotionally rich Western that subverted the very genre he helped define. The film explored themes of violence, guilt, and redemption, and it earned him his first Academy Awards for Best Director and Best Picture. Unforgiven wasn't just a critical success, it was a cultural moment. It marked the rebirth of Clint Eastwood in the eyes of critics who had once dismissed him. From there, Eastwood directed a string of remarkable films that showcased his talent behind the camera. Mystic River 2003, a haunting story of childhood trauma and adult grief, earned multiple Oscar nominations. $1 Million Baby 2004, the tale of a female boxer and her grizzled trainer, won 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director for Eastwood. He became known for his minimalist directing style, few takes, no fuss, and a deep respect for his actors. He trusted instincts over planning, and it worked. His sets were quiet, focused, and efficient. Actors loved working with him because he gave them space to breathe and explore their roles. As Clint Eastwood aged, he didn't slow down. Instead, he challenged expectations of what a filmmaker in his 70s and 80s could achieve. He directed and sometimes starred in powerful films well into his 80s, continuing to explore the human condition with subtlety and grace. In Gran Torino 2008, he played a grumpy, bigoted war veteran who slowly forms an unlikely bond with his Hmong neighbors. The film was both emotional and thought-provoking, and it became a surprise hit. Then came American Sniper 2014, the story of Navy SEAL sniper Chris Kyle, which sparked national debate and became the highest-grossing war film of all time. In 2018, at the age of 88, Eastwood directed and starred in The Mule, playing a desperate and flawed man who becomes a drug courier late in life. The role was deeply personal and melancholic, a reflection of time, regret, and mortality. Even in his 90s, Eastwood continued working. His energy, focus, and passion for storytelling remain undimmed. To this day, he walks onto set with quiet confidence, knowing exactly what he wants from each scene. Clint Eastwood's influence on American cinema is immeasurable. He's not just a movie star, he's a cultural icon, a symbol of resilience, independence, and authenticity. He reinvented the Western, created some of the most memorable characters in film history, and directed films that moved audiences and critics alike. He has won 5 Academy Awards and received numerous Lifetime Achievement honors. But for Eastwood, it's never been about awards or fame. It's about the work, the craft, the ability to tell stories that matter. Eastwood once said, "You should never be afraid to lose. That's what makes you a great competitor." This mindset, fearless, focused, and fiercely individual, is what has driven him through decades of change in Hollywood. He adapted, evolved, and outlasted generations of actors and directors. As Clint Eastwood's story continues, one thing remains clear. He's never stopped moving forward. Whether he's riding across a dusty plain, delivering a line with quiet fire, or calling the shots from behind the camera, he's always in motion. His legacy isn't just about the roles he played or the movies he made, it's about the spirit he brought to everything he did. A spirit of quiet determination, a refusal to compromise, a deep, abiding love for storytelling. From the son of a steelworker to one of the most respected filmmakers of all time, Clint Eastwood's journey is the story of American grit and greatness. And even now, as the sun begins to set on a remarkable life, he continues to inspire the world with every frame, every film, every squint. Clint Eastwood didn't just ride into the sunset, he became it. If Clint Eastwood's incredible journey moved you, surprised you, or inspired you, don't let the story end here. Hit that like button to show your support, subscribe to our channel for more untold stories of legendary lives, and drop a comment below. What's your favorite Clint Eastwood moment? From the Wild West to Oscar-winning glory, we've only scratched the surface of cinema's greatest icons. More powerful stories are on the way, so stay tuned, and as always, thanks for watching.